What's up, everybody? It's your boy Pure Elite Gaming back at you once again with ARVT, and we're bringing you pure revamped discussions once again. Oh boy, today we're going to
Happy
be talking
Sunday.
about today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball and the death of Dragon Ball in our opinion, and we're going to touch on Daima just a little bit here. So ARVT wanted to talk about Dragon Ball a little bit today, and well, Tay, when do you think that Dragon Ball, like in your eyes, kind of just died out and is just just there, kind of just to appease a certain fan base?
Super.
Are we talking about
Super.
Super in general?
super. Super killed Dragon Ball. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It did. It did. It killed Dragon Ball. It did. That's except for the only thing that I feel that was good about Super was Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Dragon Ball
I
Super
love that
Broly.
movie.
Dragon
Yeah.
Ball Super
That
Broly
movie.
definitely was a good one. I agree.
Yes. It was good. It was good. And I guess Goku's transformation. I guess it was all right. I don't
N-
know.
Now, which transformation are we talking about here? Because
The
Goku had
one,
several transformations in
yes,
Super.
his ultra instinct transformation.
Oh, so Ultra Instinct, the transformation that a certain vocal minority of the fan base say that that's not a transformation. That's a
Yeah,
technique.
a technique. My bad. Yeah, a
Okay.
technique.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
well, there you go. The only technique then. The only technique then that was appealing was Ultra Instinct. That's it.
Gotcha. Well, I wasn't really the biggest fan of Ultra Instinct because one minute it's mastered Ultra Instinct, and then the next minute it's not mastered Ultra Instinct. The black haired version is mastered Ultra Instinct, and then oh wait a minute, now the silver haired version is the mastered Ultra Instinct. I feel like the writers just didn't know which direction they wanted to go with that technique, and maybe they kind of or transformation, and maybe they kind of wrote themselves into a wall and just tried to write themselves out of it with contradicting levels to Ultra Instinct, which, in my personal opinion, just did not really make sense. So,
Super didn't make sense anyway,
I
but
mean, I agree. I do agree, but my take on Dragon Ball Super, I agree with you to a degree, but I also did like Battle of Gods. I thought Battle of Gods was pretty cool.
Battle
It's
of Gods was
always
good.
it's always good to see Goku get, finger flicked back into reality sometimes. And that's what Beerus did. Beerus did that boy dirty. He just finger flicked him and knocked him out of Super Saiyan 3. And then I also did enjoy, Vegeta's like cool little moment where he surpassed Goku Super Saiyan 3 with just Super Saiyan 2, which does not get talked about a lot, but I did enjoy that moment very well. Also, I enjoyed revival of F, the Frieza movie. I thought that was pretty cool, but I gotta say
Those
this
are Z
too.
movies, right? Those are Z movies, though,
Well,
right?
technically they are, but
Leading
they
up, leading up to Super, right? Those are Z movies. So, you know,
they are Z movies, but also you got to
yeah,
remember they got incorporated into Super Story. So maybe I should
yeah.
have clarified myself a little bit. I did, I guess, kind of like. Well, no, no, the Super version. I feel like the animation kind of took a hit with certain scenes and everything like that. And also, I was just gonna make a point about Frieza. I think Frieza shouldn't have come back. Once they beat him again in Revival of Frieza, they should have just that should have been the end of him.
I forgot to say this. Black Frieza was pretty awesome. You got to give you have to give it that. Like Black Frieza was freaking awesome.
I was just gonna say, remember the Black Frieza memes I was doing at one point when I was saying
Yes.
Dark Rage memes, and that was a lot of fun. I definitely did enjoy the whole Black Frieza thing. And to be fair, he owned Goku and Vegeta and Ultra Instinct and an
Yes.
Ultra Ego. Like he just owned the two of them. Like it was one shot and they were both down, and he kind of disappeared into obscurity after that. And that's my whole
Yeah.
problem with Super is one minute they're going this direction with it, and then the next minute they're going a completely different direction with it. And it's just, you know, I gotta say this before we go off any further, and I should have said this at the beginning of this podcast. Rest in peace to Akira Toriyama, first and foremost. You
Yes.
know,
The legendary Akira
legendary
Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama.
Yes.
He's responsible for a big renaissance, kind of like a boom period of anime. Like, and now you've got all these other animes that are just, taking the formula that made Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z a success. They're taking that formula and they're making it their own, and also, adding different layers to the story and
Surpassing,
everything like that. In a
surpassing
sense,
Dragon Ball,
surpassing
surpassing
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball. Like it's ridiculous. Like I've said this numerous times in the group. Um, before we changed the name, Gods of Destruction. Dragon Ball. I don't know. It was. I feel like they wanted to put something out. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what angle they were going at. It was
I got you. So
it
pretty
was so
much,
watered down. It was so like you know what I mean? Like it's Super's for kids. Let's just say that Super is literally it was for kids because
indeed, indeed.
that's not what we grew up on. You know what I mean? When Goku and Vegeta and them guys get beat to a pulp, you see that they were beat to a freaking pulp. You know what I mean? Super, Goku got beat down, and all he got to show for it is three lines on his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, what is that? What is that? Like,
a couple of scratches. Yeah, yeah.
like
I feel like
like,
Dragon Ball Super, in a sense, they played it way too safe, and it was definitely for the kids and everything like that. Which I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. If it's strictly for the children, but don't placate off nostalgia from us to get us back invested into it. Just to all of a sudden just say, hey, well, we're gonna make this football headed guy like the god of everything, and
yeah, but
he looks like Stewie in the costume from Family Guy, yo.
right,
Like every time I
right,
see
like I
Zeno,
don't,
I think of Stewie from Family Guy every time. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah, like I don't know. And it's like us older heads, we're just supposed to like, oh, just accept it. No, I'm sorry, I'm not accepting that because that's not Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? Not what I grew up on. They could have continued the same, the same way, the same style that they had in Dragon Ball Z, and people still would have loved it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. It's Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? But to water it down like that is to turn it into Disney, basically. You know what I mean? Like, is I don't know. I'm sorry, but it hurt my feelings. Like you don't even
You
know. I was like, I was excited for Dragon Ball to come back, and then when it came back, it was like,
go
okay,
away
I don't
again.
have, you know what I mean? Like just go away. You know what I mean? Like I was hyped for it, but it was disappointing. It was disappointing. I didn't get the feel of when I was watching it when I was watching Z air on TV. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel the same. And to have one of your favorite shows to come back, you're supposed to have that feeling, and I did not have that. I didn't. Except for when I watched Dragon Ball Super Broly. Like that, like it was like I was watching the Dragon Ball Z the legendary Super Saiyan. It was like watching that. for
You
the
know
first
what?
time again.
You know what? I agree to your point, and let me add 2 points to it. I think that even the transformations had more meaning in Dragon Ball Super Broly because when Broly turned into a Super Saiyan, it was a big deal. And even before that
Mhm.
happened, when Goku turned Super Saiyan Blue, like it was a big deal. And even before
I'm
that,
sorry,
when
but no,
Vegeta,
no, I'm sorry. No, I did. I knew. No, Vegeta looked like I'm a fan of Vegeta, but I also, you already know, I also clown on Vegeta. You know what I mean? It looked like a Sailor Moon transformation when Vegeta transformed. I'm sorry. That's what it reminded me of. I don't know why he transformed like that, but I did not like it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't.
I mean, Sailor Moon can, one shot the whole Dragon Ball universe. So, we're just gonna, guys, I'm kidding, or am I? We're just having fun here today, but I thoroughly did. Now, I gotta disagree with you with Vegeta's transformation coming off as whack. I thought it was cool for the simple
I
fact
didn't
that
say whack. I didn't say whack. I said it gave Sailor Moon vibes when he transformed.
yeah, he just flew into the
Sailor
sky and
Moon
kind of like
transformations aren't whack. Yeah, like that's what and he
it,
just transformed. I was like, wait a second, can we get some hollering or something? No, it was just, yeah, he just shot up and he just changed color. I was like, what in the Sailor Moon is this? Like I
but
was,
but
no,
but
I
but
was not feeling that.
but you gotta look at it like this. He was calm. He closed his eyes, in which lightly as people take it, Vegeta's training has kind of been like more, mental over physical, with the last couple of movies, and it really shined in Dragon Ball Superhero, which that's what I've heard. I have not seen that movie yet, but I heard that he was really into like more meditating and just getting his mind in sync with his, body and stuff like that. Stuff Goku used
Hmm.
to do in the original Dragon Ball and in Dragon Ball Z up to a point. That's why I like the
Now he
transformation.
doesn't.
I just felt like it was, more tranquil and calm. Honestly,
Well, they didn't have to make it look pretty. They didn't have to make it look pretty.
from a combat
It could have
standpoint,
been.
from a combat standpoint, Vegeta's, style kind of improved in my opinion, especially like with the Dragon Ball Super Broly, how he just threw hands. And it was just like, yo, he was doing all kind of flips and stuff like that. You don't normally see Vegeta do because he's a brawler. So maybe all that ties in together. Maybe I'm just using my own head canon and it doesn't matter. Maybe that's just how they felt like writing it. Maybe they felt like writing Vegeta flying up into the sky and just transforming and stuff like that. Maybe
Well,
that's
like I said, they didn't have to
I'm
make it
looking
look
into it
pretty.
too
They could have
deeply.
made like, yeah, no, they could have made it look masculine. I'm just saying, because I didn't. I got Sailor Moon vibe off of it. Like, I don't know.
Sailor.
I didn't. I didn't like it. Like, don't get me wrong. The fight, yes, but the transformation up into the fight, I did not like. I did not like at all.
Well,
I don't
he
know.
threw
I
those
think it could have went deeper or something. Like, I don't know.
he threw those royal hands against Broly, which was, what we all wanted.
he made
That
up
was
for he made up for he made up for legendary Broly though. You remember he whipped out for a second. You know what I mean? Piccolo picking him up by his hair. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
oh man,
I
I did not like
was
that.
so mad at Vegeta.
This is
Oh
gonna
my
be an
god.
unpopular opinion, I know, and this is why I stay away from the Dragon Ball fan base and I stay away from the base. If I say this in a Dragon Ball fan base in any Facebook group in any setting with Dragon Ball fans, I know I'm gonna get lambasted. I did not like Dragon Ball Z Broly. I didn't. All he did was walk around screaming Kakarot, and like his story didn't have any substance. Goku made him cry as a baby.
I mean, come on, come on. You got to think about it. Being a freaking baby and trying to sleep, and you got Goku next to you, crying
But
like
he's
that,
a
and you trying to sleep. Are you just trying to sleep? Come on,
Tay, Tay,
come
Tay,
on.
Tay. Do you remember what you did as a 1 year old child, or even before one? Before you
They're
were one, do
saying,
you remember
they're
that?
saying,
No, man, no,
they're saying.
no.
The only one that doesn't remember his life was Goku. Everybody else did.
I'm sorry, but the Dragon Ball Z Broly was just whack. He didn't have any substance. He was just a strong guy, overly powered. At least with Dragon Ball Super Broly, he had more of a backstory, and they actually explained why he was so strong. In Z, he was just born strong. Hey, I'm Z, I'm Broly, and I'm strong. Hey, hooray! But we kind of got off topic just a little bit. Um, I was actually gonna break down the reason why I stopped like liking Dragon Ball and I guess in a sense fanboying over Dragon Ball Super. I meant to say Super instead of Dragon Ball, so let me retract myself. I at one point was looking at Dragon Ball Super and I enjoyed it, from a nostalgia point, but when this happened in Dragon Ball Super, I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing? The Goku Black arc, which was dark, it was like,
Hmm.
oh, at the beginning of the beginning of the Goku Black arc, we got Dragon Ball Z vibes from back in the day. When Goku Black showed up, and he was just a menace, and he wrecked Trunks' timeline and sent Trunks packing back to the present timeline to go get help from Goku and Vegeta and everything like that. Flash forward through the arc, we're not even going to talk about two different Zamazus and one taking over Goku's body and one wishing for immortality. Now we're going to skip all that. We're going to skip past that. And we're going to skip directly into the climax. Two things. For one, Trunks beat transformed Zamazu with like a spirit sword from six dried up people on the earth, which I was like, come on. It took a super spirit bomb from the freaking the whole earth to beat Kid Buu. But to beat Goku Black, it takes the energy of six people and like a sword that was never explained, and Trunks never did it again. But he beats Merz Zamazu, and then Merz Zamazu fuses with the whole universe, and then Goku calls Zeno, and he presses the Goku button to call Zeno, and Zeno just snaps his fingers and erases the whole timeline, and then Trunks skips out from that timeline because the timeline that he fought to save was got erased by Zeno. Instead of going to the timeline, I guess that's technically the unseen timeline where Cell came from.
Hmm.
Instead of going to that timeline where Cell killed him in Cell's future, no, he went to a timeline where there was already a Trunks active in the world, and there's two Trunkses, and I'm just like, what are we doing? Like that made no sense, and that's when I started to really focus in on the writing of Dragon Ball Super, and then that's when I started to say, you know what, this product is bad. Tay, you said that Dragon Ball Super, as a whole from the beginning just sucked, but I ain't gonna lie, I was feeling it.
I mean, it has its good points, but what I mean is like when I'm watching like Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia or Chainsaw Man, and then I go back and look at Dragon Ball Super, and I'm like, I don't understand why they watered it down when all these new gen animes are coming out, and you got Deku breaking his fingers and friggin' what's his name, Tanjiro freaking getting beat to a freaking pulp, and you see every detail of the demon doing harm to them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I'm sorry. I don't I'm not set I couldn't settle for that. And I've been watching Dragon Ball since I was 5. You know what I mean? Since it aired in Canada, which was in 95. You know what I mean? I just said my age, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like you know how people in the group will be like, "Oh, you're not a real fan. You don't even know. You don't even know." I'm a diehard fan, and I can't settle for that because I know the potential that Dragon Ball has, and this is what we get. This is what we get. No, I'm sorry. I'm not cool with that. I'm not.
No, I definitely
Just
get it,
saying.
and no, I definitely understand, and which is that's a big part of the reason why I left the Dragon Ball fan base. That's a big part of the reason why I did that, and I very rarely talk about Dragon Ball. But there's another part
Oh, I've left. I officially left all of the Dragon Ball groups except for our buddy Rob's group. Right at the end of the day,
Dragon Ball Ascended.
no,
Shouts out to Mr. Ascended.
yes,
We gotta shout our
yes.
boy out, man. Shouts out to Mr. Ascended. We gotta get him on the podcast one day, man. One
I
day we
know,
gotta get him on here.
right? But like, that's the only group I have not left. And why I left all these other Dragon Ball groups is because when Akira Toriyama passed away,
They
these
got
people that
disrespected.
had that they let their groups are built on the backs of Dragon Ball, and you let members sit in a group and talk smack, downplay Akira Toriyama, and you know what I mean? They let these members talk trash about this man after hearing he just passed away. You know what I mean? That is just disrespectful all its own. To have your
I
name,
agree. I
have
agree.
that name attached to your group, and the reason why your group has over 100k people in 100k members in your group is because of Akira Toriyama. So to have members in there trash this man amongst his death, that's highly disrespectful at the end of the day. I don't care. I don't care if you're letting people say what they want to say. No, there's a level where you need to draw the line, and that's disrespectful and to anybody who's a fan of Dragon Ball and to look up to Akira Toriyama at the end of the day. I don't want to get emotional, but like, yo, that was slap in the face to see that, to see all the hateful comments. But you were saying all this when the man was alive. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, no,
Like,
I definitely agree. And as far as like the Akira Toriyama hate, I just go based off of what you told me because I left those groups long before Akira
oh,
Toriyama
it
passed
was a
away.
freaking it was a disaster. You weren't in the groups. Like, I'm not even going to say the names of the groups. They know who they are. You know what I mean? But it was just it was terrible. It was terrible to see the amount of people disrespect this man, call this man a racist, and bring up Mr. Popo and this and that, and you know what I mean, comparing Mr. Popo to black people and this and that and whatnot. Like, it was just stop, stop. Now all of a sudden, now, like, like, discredit. You trying to discredit this man? This man was in your households. Like, what are you talking about? Dragon Ball was on at 9 o'clock every night. What do you mean? And now you want to
Facts.
talk smack? Now you want to talk smack about the man? Now that he's dead and gone? Yo, you're a fake fan. Straight up.
Since we're on the topic of Dragon Ball and its fans, again, I left the fan base and I already gave my opinion about Dragon Ball Daima that's coming up. I did a video about it on my channel. And I'm just gonna say this, and then I'll give you the floor, Tay. I'm not gonna check out Daima. I have no plans on watching Daima because it's just not for me. Daima was not made for pure elite gaming. Daima wasn't made for me, so I'm
And
gonna
I
take a
have
pass
to
on it.
I have to do it. I have to do it because you know what my content is all based on. I can't, I can't just nitpick. I gotta watch all the anime. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So yeah, but I will be annoying you with this. I will be. I will be. Every time I clip
Yeah,
something, I'm gonna send it to you so you can just, sneak peek. You know what I mean? But I already gave
just as
you.
long, just as long as whatever you send me, it doesn't have Screen Rant or CBR on the title. I will not.
No, I'm talking about
It,
my clips. I'm talking about when it
I
airs, and
won't do
when
it.
I do my clips. When I do my clips, I'm probably
Okay,
gonna send
okay,
them to
okay.
you.
I
Oh
got you.
yeah,
I
that,
got you.
not the screen
I got
rant
you.
stuff and all that. Yeah, but I already gave you my theory on Daima. At the end of the day, um, I think Akira made that solely for, like his grandkids to enjoy and whatnot, and for little kids to enjoy. That's my only theory. At the end of the day, why they decided to make them kids again. You know what I mean? And like, to accommodate the little kids. I don't know. I really don't, because and the people that hated GT for some reason, something that's not even aired yet. You seen a clip of it, the teaser or whatever, the trailer, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna be so hyped for this. But you hated GT. You hated GT though.
They did
Make it
talk to
make
him.
sense.
Talk to him. They did.
Make it make sense.
They did.
Uh, like, I'm confused.
They're
I'm
still
really
hating GT. The same
confused.
people, the same members of the fan base that hated GT are so hyped about Dragon Ball Daima. And I just don't
Yes,
understand it. They took the whole concept of Goku being a child again and just making everybody a child. They took that concept from Dragon Ball GT. Give Dragon Ball GT his
exactly.
flowers, man. Stop hating. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, like now you can't even sit there and say it. Like, the people that hate on GT, there's no point in hating on it anymore. If you're a fan, if you're hyped for Diamond, let's be realistic. The fans out there that are hating on GT, if you are hyped for Daima, there's no reason for you to say anything about GT. Nothing about GT of Goku being a kid again. At the end of the day, that's
And
all.
again,
That's all I got to say about
again,
that. like,
again,
like,
that's why I left that fan base because I don't understand them. I don't understand, and I'm not knocking anybody before anyone comes in the comments and says, "Oh,
right,
why do you talk so
right,
bad?" I'm not knocking nobody.
yeah.
Knocking is not what I'm doing. This is all about a level of understanding. I don't understand the logic and concept of not liking and actually hating, despising Dragon Ball GT. But then you love
And that's the
Super
number
Saiyan
one. And that's the
4.
number one. That's the number one thing that they would say about GT. Oh, making Goku a kid again is goofy or whatever, whatever. Okay, so why are you hyped for Daima? Now
But
they make Goku and everybody else kids again. So what do you got to
Tay,
say about that?
I got something else for you. The same people that are hating off Dragon Ball GT, they've got their own vision of the transformations that are going to happen to Daima. Do you know there are a lot of people that want to see Super Saiyan 4 in Daima, but these are the same people that hate GT though. But
I
they
don't.
want
I
Super
don't. I
Saiyan
don't.
4 in
I don't want to
Daima.
see. I don't want to see. I don't want to see Super Saiyan 4 Chibi Goku. I'm sorry. I don't want to see a miniature Super Saiyan 4. I'm sorry. I don't.
Well,
I don't want to see that.
They probably won't do Chibi Goku. They'll probably do what they did in GT and just have Super Saiyan 4 be Goku's adult transformation
For
because
some reason, I doubt that, because what is this? What is how do you say his name? The one that's doing it now, that's doing the
um
comics and the manga now, and how do you say his name?
Toyotaro
Yeah,
Toyotaro.
the people don't realize that this man, his concept is Pixar and Disney and Marvel and stuff. You know what I mean? And he's not even really a fan of manga. You know what I mean? So it's
At least not original
makes
manga.
sense. It makes sense. I his when like when I would crack jokes like, yo, why is this so Disney like? And then I go look him up and see what he's into, and that makes perfect sense. Why Dragon Ball looks the way that Dragon Ball Daima and Super looks the way that it looks. Like, it could literally be on Disney platform. It could. It
Tay,
would fit
remember
perfectly
the
on Disney platform.
Tay, remember the one time I told you about this that I watched the Dragon Ball Daima trailer in front of my wife, and she was like, "What is this, Dragon Ball diapers?" And my wife doesn't watch anime, but she said, "What is this, Dragon Ball diapers?" And I'm looking at it like, "Oh my goodness, they probably got diapers on too, man. Like this is crazy." But
Well,
yeah,
We know Goten and Trunks does, because they go back to infants. They go back to
oh,
infants.
oh my goodness,
Yeah.
and they just grew up after being kids for
Right?
like 15 years in Super. They just grew up, man, and
Oh
now
my
they're
goodness.
they're they're, they're kids again. I don't know. Maybe it's to sell toys. I'm thinking that's where they're aiming at. But
Dragon Ball makes its money off the games, doesn't it? That's where most of their franchise comes from, right? Like most of their money income
most of it, yeah,
is
yeah,
is on
they
it's
they
on the
are getting
games, right?
a huge chip of merchandise from the games, and they're also getting a
Yeah.
huge chip of their money from all these convoluted transformations that are in Super. You know, you got Super
Oh, and
Saiyan God.
shout out. You gotta give shout out to Akira Toriyama's one of his projects that he did Sandlands Sandland. Got to give a shout out to that.
You know
I
what?
I played the game. I played the
I saved
game.
Sandlands, and I still haven't watched it yet. I still haven't watched
Yeah,
it
you got
yet.
to check it out. Yeah, you got to check
I
it out.
will.
You're gonna get the super vibe off of it, but it was actually pretty good. And if you when you watch that and then you go see the game, and you'll enjoy it more. You'll enjoy the game more than actually watching it.
I just see. I didn't even know there
It-
was a Sandland game out. You just put me on
yes,
something.
there is.
I had no
Yes,
idea
yes.
there was a Sandland game out. Like that's crazy to
Yeah.
me.
They dropped the trail. They dropped the game. They dropped the game and the anime on the same day.
That's how you
Yeah,
do it.
people were confused because like when I uploaded it, they're like, "Yo, it's an anime," and I'm like, "Yeah, you didn't know? The trailer came out before the game was introduced. Before the trailer of the game was introduced. Remember I showed you it, and you're like, I don't know. I may watch it or I may not watch it. You know." It
That
was like
does
a
sound
while
like
ago.
that.
It was like a
That
while
does
ago
sound
when I
like me.
showed you.
Yeah, that does
Yeah.
sound like me. I probably said that. Yeah, those exact words. I might watch it. I might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and call this one, everybody. What do you guys think about the video? What do you guys think about our comments about when we just stopped enjoying Dragon Ball Super, and also, Tay's thoughts about Dragon Ball Daima? I already said mine in the video, so I let Tay have the floor and do her thing and speak on Daima. What do you guys think about that in the comment section? Sound off and let us know, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Be respectful.
Please be respectful in the comment section. That's
Yes.
all we ask.